And we're back. And now we have sound, I should assume. Okay. Yep, I see everything's leveled out. So let's roll through this once again. And thanks for those of you that stayed around. We're going to run through this forecast one more time. Let me get it re-racked and ready to go. And I don't know what happened because I turned the mic on. I know I did. Sometimes when we switch between sources, sometimes the mic gets clipped. So that may have been what happened. Anyway, let's start with the good news. I want to show you what it looks like outside. Here's a look at our Midwest Heating Plumbing camera. Look at all that melting on the plaza. Yeah, it feels really nice outside, no doubt. We're looking at temperatures that right now, let's take a look at those temperatures, are running above freezing finally. But as we talked about yesterday, by 9 o'clock, we knew the sun angle was going to be good enough that we'd start to see some melting. Just from the sun alone, not even from the air temperature. And that's interesting because air is not a great conductor of temperature, of heat, or the great transfer of heat. That's why a lot of your thermoses, mugs, water bottles are double barreled because they want that area of heat between the inside and the outside, or the area between the inside and the outside full of air, because they know air is not a great conductor of temperature. So that's why it always melts on a sunny day before the temperature reaches freezing. We're at 35 right now. That's our high temperature for today. We got a little breeze out of the south at 13, but man, just standing in that sunshine feels really nice. All right, so here's a look at your current temperatures. Everybody's above freezing except for Bethany, Chillicothe. And I wouldn't be surprised if you get there in the next hour or so. And look at the 41 in Ottawa and Garnett. Yeah, the lack of snow as you head south, allowing for much warmer temperatures. All right, there is an issue this evening. A refreeze is possible. This temperature will be holding right around 32, 33 degrees. Most areas are treated, likely not to freeze, but just in case, some of the side streets, some of the lesser traveled roads, some of those that haven't been treated or still have some slush on them, some freezing is possible, okay? Just to let you know, it's not going to be like it was this morning, but there's, the small possibility. All right, so hazardous roads, slippery right now to possible refreeze. Now we've got a low end chance Wednesday and Thursday of rain and snow. More likely a winter mix for Wednesday, more Saturday than for Wednesday, which will be more likely snow. But there's still a slight chance we could have a wintry mix Wednesday morning. And the Arctic invasion, we've got record cold temperatures coming. So here's a kind of a look at the next 3 days. 36, light mix possible in the morning, and then some light snow possible in the afternoon. We could upgrade that. It's a 30% now. We being me, Melissa, and Warren, we've been talking about possibly with the newest data coming in. We're waiting for all the new data to come in and possibly upgrading that to a first warn. So that's something we'll let you know as soon as that happens. First warn is solid for Thursday, just solid, because we've got record cold temperatures. We've got negative wind chills possible. A nice return flow. Friday, we've got winds coming out of the south, chilly, and about 39 degrees. So the bus stop tomorrow, there may be just a light mix. What we're kind of concerned with is there's enough moisture in the air from the melting today that's going to get trapped. And with temperatures dropping down to 29, a glaze could develop. Also, with the storm coming in during the morning hours, if it has a little bit of moisture in the form of rain or drizzle at that matter, that could form some areas of black ice. So those are kind of some of the variables we're looking at right now that could push this up to a first warn. 34 in the afternoon, okay? But the breezy conditions, got to be aware of that. It's going to feel like the 20s in the afternoon. So we've got a wintry mix, 30% through 7 o'clock, down to 20% at 9 o'clock. Again, we're probably going to bump that up. Then we get a break through the midday, and then as the evening commute starts, we'll ramp up to a 30% chance of light snow. And again, we may bump that up too, because this newest data, I'm showing you this newest data. We're looking at it together right now. And so let's kind of dissect it as we go through it. So we've got a storm system coming in from west to east. So we've got a zonal flow in the atmosphere. So we got a storm system coming in from west to east right there. And this is the one that potentially has some warm air just above us. So look for the pinks, and even some green's going to show up. So here we are at 4, 5, 6, 7, and you can see the pink mixing with the white. That's a wintry mix of snow and likely sleet, small chance of freezing drizzle. And then you can see some blue around Cameron and Chillicothe, and that would just be straight on liquid. And you can see that kind of falls apart as we head through the rest of the morning. Models aren't putting out anything measurable with that system, which is interesting. But this one, cold front coming in. We're switching the storm track. We're bringing it in from the north to south. And you can see during the evening commute, some light snow is going to hang around for a little while, maybe a couple of hours, and then it'll eventually move south. So we'll take a look at that accumulation here in just a second. In fact, let me reorder these, and let me put the snow accumulation back up here. Let's take a look at that first while it's fresh in our minds. So here we go. This is midnight again tonight, and watch as we go through the morning. Here we are at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Nothing shows up until about 4 or 5 when that next batch of snow comes through on the heels of that cold front. And, wow, we're looking at nearly an inch in Warrensburg. Getting close in Garnett. Just a dusting here in the metro, okay? So we've got some issues developing with this new data coming in that, will change the forecast just a little bit, I think. All right, so that's good to know. Let's go through Wednesday's morning lows. All right, they're in the upper 20s. That's a far cry from this morning. We were at 12. We had a wind chill at one point of 6 this morning. Man, that was cold. Tomorrow afternoon, most of us warm above freezing. But again, without the sunlight, it's just going to be cloud cover and air, and there's not going to be as much melting tomorrow, if much at all. In fact, look at Maryville, Bethany, Cameron, Chillicothe, and St. Joe and Atchison, all below freezing the entire day. Here in Kansas City, I think we'll warm up into the mid-30s between those bouts of wintry weather. But that's it. And then with the winds in the afternoon, dress for the wind chills in the upper teens to low 20s. All right, so the solid first warn right now is for Thursday. This is Thursday at midnight. So if you're traveling anywhere Wednesday evening through Thursday morning, it's just going to get colder and colder and colder. Look at these wind chills by 7 o'clock. 11 below in Maryville, 9 below in Bethany, 4 below in Cameron, 7 below in Chillicothe, that's 1 in St. Joe. It's 4 Kansas City, but it's 1 in Lee Summit, Odessa, and 0 in Richmond and Marshall, 6 in Lawrence, 4 in Paola and Lacine. So that is some seriously cold air, some dangerously cold air. And wind chills will be in the single digits to teens all day. And the reason why, the winds will actually back down during the afternoon, but our high is only 23 degrees, so it doesn't take much to get cold. So let's walk through the 7-day. We are going to drop the first warm weather day. Okay. The threat of the refreeze was greatest this morning. Wednesday, we're thinking about boosting that to 40 to possibly 50% and adding a first warn. Okay, that's what we're going to look at. Thursday, we've got the first warn for the cold. Let's go through Thursday real quick. Let me show you the morning temperatures. Our record is 127 years ago. 1898? Long time ago. So being so long ago, we are going to be close. 6, 5, it's kind of what we're thinking. But remember, those wind chills are going to be the real story also. Nice southerly flow comes back for Friday. Mostly cloudy, 39. And that 40 on Saturday, that's why we're not as concerned with the frozen type of precipitation out of that Saturday. Some snow will fall because the temperature above us will be below freezing, but as it falls through that layer and gets to the 40 degrees, it's going to melt. So we'll have snow mixing with rain or snow melting to rain. That's another weak front. It brings in freezing cold temperatures for Sunday. It's a Chiefs game. The game's at 7:20 though, so temperatures are going to fall back into the 20s for the Chiefs game. And then as we head into Monday, 23 to 38. Now we're seeing signs of 50s next week of the polar vortex, just the cold snaps of air that have been coming down these Arctic blasts, of retreating back up to the Arctic Circle and staying there for the majority of next week. So that's some good news, and that's something we'll definitely keep an eye on for you. So, in a nutshell, got a lot of variable to look at, and so make sure you come back here at 3:30 on TV with Warren, 4 with me, 5 with Melissa. And then on the weather show, we'll also be there. Also, we're going to get on social media like this. As soon as we make those changes to Wednesday forecasts, we will let you know. As soon as we see something, we're going to let you in on what we see. Pull back the curtain, if you will, and make sure you're prepared for what is coming our way. So thanks for stopping by. We'll see you again soon. Until then, have a great rest of your afternoon.